$649. That is what Sony is asking for these headphones. And that number should make you stop and think, because $649 is not just expensive, it's a statement.
The Sony 1000X The Collection is the most expensive headphone Sony has ever made. Not a WH-1000XM7, not a replacement for the SM6. Sony built this as a luxury anniversary model, a celebration of 10 years of the 1000X series, and priced it $200 above the SM6 that sits right next to it in the lineup. So here's the question this video is going to answer. When you pay $649 for a Sony headphone, what exactly are you buying? Is it better sound, better noise cancellation, or are you paying for the feel of stainless steel and leather and nothing else?
This is everything you need to know about the Sony 1000X The Collexion.
Before anything else, the context. Sony launched the original MDR-1000X back in 2016, the headphone that turned ANC into a mainstream battleground. Every SM model since has sat at the top of the best headphones list. The SM6 landed in 2025 at $449, and it's still considered the safe flagship pick for most people. The Collection is not a successor to the SM6. Sony is selling both at the same time. The Collection slots above the SM6 at $649 in the United States, £549 in the UK, and 629 euros in Europe. It's available now in platinum and black. What you get in the box: the headphones, a sculpted carry case with an integrated handle and magnetic closure, and a 1.2-meter, 3.5-millimeter audio cable. Sony omits the charging cable to reduce e-waste. That means you bring your own USB-C cable to charge. This is where the Collection earns its price tag most convincingly. Sony completely scrapped the plastic construction of the SM6 and replaced it with stainless steel headband and synthetic leather ear cup coverings, a material Sony claims took 2 years to develop. The ear cup backs have a textured leather feel that is noticeably different from any previous 1000X model. The headband is wider than the SM6's, and the padding is 40% thicker according to Sony. Clamping force is reduced. The ear cups have a larger interior volume, more space for your ears, but they're slightly narrower in diameter. In practice, reviewers widely agree this is the most comfortable Sony headphone ever made. Long sessions feel less fatiguing on the SM6. One significant design trade-off: the Collection does not fold. The SM6 folds completely flat for travel. The Collection uses a stainless steel swivel joint instead, so it can only lie flat, not compact down. The carry case is designed around this limitation and has a built-in handle to compensate. But if fold-flat portability matters to you, this is a real regression.
The weight is also up. At 320 grams versus the SM6, that is heavier than an AirPods. For some people, that'll matter. For others, the comfort improvements offset it completely.
Now the section Sony wants you to focus on. Sony describes the Collection as a sound-first headphone, tuned in collaboration with engineers from professional recording studios in the United States, and they built new drivers specifically for it. The driver is a 30-millimeter dynamic driver. A dynamic driver is a traditional cone and coil design, like a tiny regular speaker inside each ear cup. But Sony switched to a soft edge design with a unidirectional carbon fiber diaphragm. The diaphragm is the thin membrane inside the driver that moves to make sound. The soft edge means the outer ring of that membrane is more compliant, which Sony claims allows for better bass extension and lower distortion. Sony also optimized the internal circuit board layout with a thicker copper substrate. The claim is that more copper in the signal path results in richer detail, a wider soundstage, and greater sound depth. Independent measurements to verify this haven't been published yet, so take that as what it is, a manufacturer claim that needs time to be tested. The V3 chip inside the Collection also unlocks DSEE Ultimate. That stands for Digital Sound Enhancement Engine. On the SM6, Sony had DSEE Extreme, which restored high-frequency detail lost in Bluetooth compression. DSEE Ultimate goes further, using AI processing to rebuild both frequency domain detail and fine texture in compressed audio. Whether you can actually hear the difference depends heavily on your source material and how much compression was applied upstream.
Here's the honest summary on sound. The collection sounds more detailed and refined than the SM6, more restrained, less consumer V-shaped, more studio adjacent. But a meaningful number of reviewers say the SM6 sounds more enjoyable, more alive, less polite.
That's a real tension at this price point. The collection is asking you to pay more for a sound signature that is technically more resolved, but subjectively more divisive. If you listen to classical, jazz, acoustic, or vocal music, the more neutral tuning will likely reward you. If you listen to EDM, hip-hop, or anything that benefits from a warmer, more energetic presentation, the SM6 might actually suit you better at $200 less. 3 spatial audio upmix modes are available: music, cinema, and game, selectable from a dedicated button on the left ear cup. These are processing modes that take standard stereo or Atmos content and attempt to make it sound more spatially immersive. They're not a new audio format. They're a processing effect applied to whatever you're already playing. The cinema mode is the most effective of the 3. ANC is where things get complicated. Sony openly says noise cancellation wasn't the primary focus for the collection. The SM6 was the ANC benchmark. The collection carries over the same QN3 noise cancellation processor and the same 12 microphone setup.
The result is ANC that reviewers describe as excellent, class-leading at most frequencies. But it is not better than the SM6. At a $200 premium, that needs to be said plainly.
Sony markets a peak noise reduction figure for the collection. That peak is measured at one specific low-frequency band, the kind of engine rumble you get on a plane or a subway. Broadband performance across all frequencies is lower, as it is with every ANC headphone on the market. Independent measurements haven't been published for the collection yet, but based on the shared QN3 hardware with the SM6, expect real-world broadband attenuation somewhere in the 20 to 24 dB range. What is confirmed, the collection handles mid- and low-frequency noise, commutes, planes, open offices at a very high level. Very high-pitched sounds like sharp bird calls or certain keyboard clicks can still bleed through. That's normal for any ANC system in 2026. Call quality is excellent, with 6 dedicated beam-forming mics and a wind noise reduction structure that multiple reviewers specifically highlighted. Battery life. This is the number that's hardest to explain.
Sony claims 24 hours with ANC on, 32 hours with ANC off, on a $649 headphone. The SM6 claims 30 hours ANC on and 40 hours ANC off. The collection costs $200 more and lasts 6 fewer hours.
Those are manufacturer figures measured at 50% volume with a lower bitrate codec. Real world with ANC active, moderate volume, and LDAC engaged, expect somewhere around 18 to 20 hours. The Sennheiser Momentum 4, available for around $270, offers 56 hours ANC on. That's not a typo. There is a battery care mode in the Sony Sound Connect app that limits charging to 80% to preserve long-term cell health. That's a thoughtful feature on a premium product and worth enabling. It also means if you use it, your effective runtime is lower still. On the codec front, the collection steps up to Bluetooth 6.0 from the SM6's 5.3. In practice, Bluetooth 6.0 enables LE audio, which means LC3 codec support. LC3 is the next generation wireless audio format that delivers better quality at lower bit rates and enables Auracast broadcast audio natively on day one. For Android users, LDAC is present at up to 990 kilobits per second claimed, though in real-world conditions your phone will almost always drop this to 660 or 333 kilobits per second based on signal conditions. For iPhone users, the codec ceiling is AAC. LDAC, LC3, and any of their advantages are not accessible from iOS. That's not a flaw in the collection. Apple restricts third-party codec support at the operating level. The one gap that stings at $649, there is no USB-C audio input. The charging port charges only. If you want wired high-quality audio, you're using the included 3.5mm analog cable. The Bose Comfort Quiet Ultra 2nd Gen at $399 supports 16-bit lossless audio over USB-C. The AirPods Max 2 at $549 supports 24-bit lossless audio over USB-C. Sony has not matched this on their most expensive headphone.
So who is this headphone actually for?
Buy the collection if comfort and build quality are your top priority and you're willing to pay for a premium materials experience. If you're a Sony ecosystem user who wants the most refined, detailed sound tuning the brand has ever shipped, and if you primarily listen to acoustic, classical, jazz, or vocal music where the more neutral signature rewards you, and if Bluetooth 6.0 and Day 1 Auracast broadcast support matters to you. Do not buy the collection if you're choosing between this and the SM6, and ANC or battery life is the deciding factor. The SM6 wins both at $200 less. If USB-C lossless audio matters, look at Bose or Apple. If you need fold-flat portability for travel, the SM6 is the better bag companion. And if you're primarily on iPhone, you won't access LDAC, LC3, or any of the codec advantages that partially justify the premium.
The Sony 1000X The Collexion is a genuinely beautiful headphone, the most premium Sony has ever built. And it's also the clearest example of Sony asking you to pay more for less on paper. Less battery, no fold, no USB-C audio, because the materials and comfort experience justify it in their view. For some buyers, that trade is worth making. For most, the SM6 is still the smarter purchase.
At $649, this headphone competes with Apple at $549, Bose at $399, and Sennheiser at $270. On pure performance metrics, it loses those comparisons in multiple categories. On materials, comfort, and build quality, it wins them all. Which side of that trade you land on is the real question this headphone asks of you. Is the collection worth the premium over the SM6, or is the SM6 still the smarter buy? Tell us in the comments.
Like and subscribe to Headphones Pro Review, and I'll catch you in the next one.